Good afternoon. We'll get started here in about 5 minutes. Welcome to the 2023 Big 12 Football Media Days presented by Old Trapper. Just a few general announcements before we get started with Coach Sonny Dykes here in just a few minutes. The closest restaurants on this level are located in the Miller Lite Club. Photographers may work on the field or utilize the regular AT&T Stadium photo workroom off the tunnel. As a reminder, please turn off your cell phones or place on silent. Please raise your hand and we will get a mic to you. Please state your name and affiliation. All quotes are being transcribed remotely and will be posted on Big12Sports.com, CollegePressBox.com, and in the media Dropbox. It's important that you speak directly into the microphone. Coaches' press conferences will be carried on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. Additional coach and player interviews will be televised on ESPNU. Again, we'll get started with TCU coach Sonny Dykes at 1:15. Welcome to the 2023 Big 12 Football Media Days presented by Old Trapper. Again, if you do have a question today, please make sure to raise your hand. We have 4 mic holders throughout the area that'll be asking your questions. They'll be handling your questions. Now, welcome to the stage from TCU, Coach Sonny Dykes. Coach, welcome back, and we'll start with an opening statement.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here again. I want to thank the media for being here and for covering the Big 12. And you know, I'm really excited about what's going on in our conference right now. Also, a little bit sad. Just wanted to touch on the fact that Chuck Carlton's not here with us. Chuck was always did a tremendous job covering the Big 12 from the Dallas Morning News, and really sad that he's not here with us. And wish he was, but certainly appreciate what he meant to the league, and enjoyed his coverage over the years, and just wanted to say that. So again, glad to be here, man. To me, it's a signal that football season is right around the corner. It's a very exciting time of the year. We're blessed to be in the Big 12 and in this tremendous facility. We're blessed to be in a conference that I think has proven to be one of the top conferences in college football. You go and you look at parity in the league last year. To me, it was unrivaled. I think that there's not very many leagues when any team in the league can beat the best 2 or 3 teams, and that certainly is the possibility in the Big 12 week in and week out. And so I think it makes this league incredibly unique and incredibly different. There's obviously some changes happening with Texas and Oklahoma exiting the league, but we welcome some really good, capable members that I think are going to make the league better. The 4 teams coming in have had a great history of success. I have tremendous respect for all those coaches at those institutions and the commitment of those institutions to preparing them, those schools to go and compete in the Big 12. And, the resources those institutions can provide are going to allow those teams to be really successful. They all have a great recruiting footprint, and they all have, the things that you have to have in order to have a strong football program. So excited about adding those teams. I just want to shout out to Brett Yormark and the leadership of the Big 12. I truly believe we have the best conference commissioner in college athletics. I think his vision is unparalleled. I love, the confidence he brings to the league. I think he's got a great understanding of how to position the Big 12 to be incredibly successful moving forward. And so couldn't be any more confident in a commissioner than I am with Brett, and appreciate what he's done, for the league so far. And I know he's just getting started. So excited about that, and feel really strong about the future of the Big 12 and, our role in it. Last year was a fun season for TCU football. We came last year and didn't have very high expectations. I think we were picked 7th in the preseason poll. And I probably would have picked us lower, honestly, than I think the media did, just based on what was coming back and the coaching change and all the stuff that transpired. But man, you got to give our players a ton of credit. We had a good nucleus of players. But what made that group interesting and fun to coach was we were better collectively than we were individually, and that's a sign of a great team. And I think that's what we had last year. When this started, I felt like we were an average football team, probably honestly slightly below average. Teams got a little confidence, hit second part of our schedule and started to win some games and became a probably above average football team. Won some games and figured out how to win. Became a probably good football team, and I think at times we were a great football team, and it was a fun ride to go on. Those players and their level of commitment and their respect for each other was really just fun to be a part of, and it was a hell of a ride and something I'll never forget. But at the same time, we got to move forward. What happened last year is certainly not going to have any bearing on what's going to happen this year. A big challenge for us. I think we got a lot of eyeballs on us as we move forward, and that's what you want. You want to have high expectations for your program. You want people to pay attention. I think, everybody has slogans for their program, and I think, when you think about TCU football, our deal is we try to be, all steak and no sizzle. And I think that's kind of what we want. We want to fly under the radar a little bit. And I think it's a role that we relish, and we want to overperform and underpromise. And so that's kind of our mentality in our program. Let me just say this too. I think a big part of TCU's success, before I got here, and certainly now under Coach Patterson in the past, was our leadership. I think we have tremendous leadership from the top down. Victor Boschini, our chancellor's outstanding. He provides all the resources that we need. Again, I feel like I've got the best chancellor in college football, the best athletic director in Jeremiah Donati, and I think we're a great team. I think we share a vision for what we want TCU's program to look like, and they certainly provide the resources that we need to compete at the very highest level. So blessed and fortunate to be here and excited about this season.
Thank you, Coach. Now we'll open it up for questions. If you wish to ask a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Please make sure to state your name and affiliation. We'll go to far left. Actually, straight ahead center.
Hey, Coach. Colin Wilson with the Action Network. Last year, you had one of the most explosive offenses in the nation, about 27 seconds per play. Now Kendall Briles comes in, ran a much faster offense. Broderick's on 23 seconds. Are there any high-level wrinkles we'll see with TCU offense?
Yeah, we did. We lost some really good football players. I mean, you look, Max Duggan finished second in the Heisman Trophy. We had 3 wide receivers drafted. We had an offensive lineman, Steve Avila, drafted in the 2nd round. So we lost some significant weapons. The thing I love, though, is the guys we have coming back. I think it all begins with your offensive line. I'm really excited about both of our tackles that are coming back. I mean, to me, that's where it all begins up front. Kendall coming in, I think he shares the same vision I do. I think we come from the same place as far as our football background in a lot of ways. He wants to run the ball. He wants to be a physical offense that runs the football. And I think that's what I want to be as well. I think we saw the value in having a tough, physical, hard-nosed run game last year, and the success we had up front, and the success Kid Miller had, and Max running the ball. All those things were important to us, having the success that we had. And Kendall shares that same philosophy. I think that the offense will look pretty similar, but it truly comes from a different place. I mean, Garrett was more of a traditional air raid guy, had pretty air raid heavy or air raid centric concepts. Kendall's got a lot of the same things, but probably a little bit more wrinkles maybe than we've had in the past. As you said, has a history of playing very fast. Our pace of play will be determined by figuring out ways to win football games, and sometimes going slow and protecting our defense is the way to go to give ourselves the best chance to win. Sometimes you have to make those adjustments. I mean, you look at Texas last year, we go into that game, 2 high-powered offenses, and it's 3-0 at halftime. And so you've got to adapt as you get into those games, and you have to do what it takes to win games. And Kendall shares that philosophy just like I do. And so excited about him hired. I think he's a tremendous leader. I think he provides a lot of confidence to that group. I think our players really believe in him. I think they really like the system that we're running. And he certainly has a lot of experience, calling it. So excited to see what it looks like. And the big challenge is always to get the pieces to fit together, and I really like the pieces that we have. We've got some really high quality young players that I think have a chance to step up. Also some very high quality transfers as well. And that's what makes it fun, is seeing that stuff come together. You can see it, the beginning of it happening in the spring, and certainly needs to carry over to the fall. But really optimistic about that group that we have offensively.
We'll go to center right.
Hey, Coach. My name is Mitch Lucas. I'm from the Kilgore News Herald and from the footballbeat.com. Just wanted to ask you, first of all, congratulations on last year. I know it's last year.
Yep.
You talked a little bit about flying under the radar. I know you guys are now kind of the standard bearer. 2 parts. Will it be difficult to keep the guys grounded after such a great year? And talk a little bit, if you would, about you talked about Kendall. Talk a little bit, if you would, about replacing not only Max, but replacing a guy like Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah, thank Kendra Miller. But yes, I think what made the team really good last year was our ability to not stuff that we couldn't control. And I think that was what made the group special. Was as the season rolled along and as you start to stack wins and you get ranked and no one ever said, we're 4-0 and we're ranked, or we're 5-0 and we're this, or we're leading the Big 12, or we're this in the college football playoff. I mean, our players really did a remarkable job of just focusing on trying to get better every day. And it's a cliche. And I've coached teams in the past that probably haven't done a very good job of focusing on those things, and have focused on the external stuff too much instead of, hey, going out and just getting better and improving. And last year's team is really special that way. We never heard one conversation about the college football playoff rankings. I mean, truly, we never had one as a coaching staff. Our players never had one that I heard. Our deal was, hey, man, let's control what we can control. Let's work hard. Let's practice well. Let's go out and play hard, and and be great at situational football. And so the guys really bought into that philosophy. And so I don't really worry too much about that, because I think that they saw how freeing that was, and a big part of that was the fact that we were picked 7th. There wasn't a lot of pressure. There wasn't a lot of expectations. And so we just got to go out and play every Saturday. And the challenge this year will be to not, take on that burden and not worry about the expectations of the program moving forward. And they were able to do it last year, so I anticipate them being able to do it this year. Losing Max and Kendra and guys like that, I mean, what made last year's team again special was leadership. And Max was a tremendous, in some ways, once in a lifetime leader. And Avila was a world-class leader as well. And we just had guys that willed us to victory. And the challenge is going to be to find those guys. I think that they're in our program, but it's like anything else. It's our job to bring that part of them out. And if we can do that, then I anticipate us having a good year.
We'll go center left.
Hey, Coach John Gerard from CBS Sports. How you doing?
Good, man. What's up?
Yeah. So, you mentioned a little bit, but can you take us a little bit through the process of identifying Kendall Briles as your next offensive coordinator, and just identifying him as a coach, but also the due diligence maybe that you did beforehand?
Yeah. A couple of things. You go back and you look at kind of what happened at Baylor. I was a young head coach when those things were happening, and so I followed it. I'd worked with Art prior at Texas Tech as an assistant and knew him a long time as a high school coach. And so, the thing that I always try to do is learn from situations. And so when all that happened at Baylor, the thing I tried to do is okay, let's make sure that this never happens in my program. And how can I go about doing that? How can I learn from mistakes that were made? And I think that we all want to do that. And I think that colleges across the board, whether it's title, everything has gotten better because of what occurred. So I did a lot of homework in that. I talked to a lot of people that were directly involved in that situation to learn from it. And that was a number of years ago. And then had a chance to see guys move on from there and see how they did. And if they had any issues that plagued them moving forward. And certainly all of those things were things I considered when I hired Kendall. I mean, I knew it was going to be an unpopular hire in some ways because of things that had happened. But at the same time, I was very confident knowing Kendall from the time he was 13 years old, and just talking to people that were directly involved in that situation. So, there was a tremendous amount of due diligence a number of years ago. When I was at SMU, I did a lot of due diligence as well, talked to a lot of people that were directly involved at Baylor and saw it and tried to learn from those mistakes. And then obviously, as we got down the road hiring him. So, I feel really good about the hire. What was the other part of the question? Yeah, football-wise, okay. I think, as I said earlier, what he does fits what I believe in. And so I think we're really aligned in terms of what we believe allows you to go out and have a chance to win on Saturday. And at the end of the day, I don't care if we're running triple option. I don't care if we're throwing the ball 60 times a game. I don't care if you have to win, 55-48, or you win 3-0. My goal is to try to win football games. And at the end of the day, our job as a coach is to figure out what that looks like, and does that mean going really fast and wearing people down and, If that's the case, and then that's what the offense will look like. If that means going really slow and not turning the ball over and giving our defense a chance to win games, then that's what we'll do. And I think, that'll be determined, really, just which unit, consistently plays well. And there's going to be sometimes you get into games that are very unexpected, like we talked about with Texas earlier, or Michigan. I didn't see the Michigan game maybe being as high scoring as it was. So you just have to figure it out. You have to be willing to adjust and adapt. I think people ask me all the time what's different about college football. I mean, there's a lot of challenges out there right now, whether it's transfer portal, NIL, culture within programs. You look around the profession 4 or 5 years ago, some of the top coaches, most respected coaches in all of college football aren't coaching anymore because of different reasons, scandals in their program. And so what you have to do, man, you got to be willing to adapt and adjust every day. And we had a good year last year, and all we've done is talk about how we're going to change. We're not going to sit here and say we're going to keep doing things the way we've always done them. We're going to adapt, and we want to try to get ahead of the curve. We want to try to be as innovative as we possibly can. Any change that occurs in college football, we want to try to figure out how to make it work for us and give us an advantage. And those are the things you have to do. And to me, the days of sitting up here and going, hey, look, we've always done it this way, we're going to continue to do it that way, those things are changing, and every single day we're trying to be innovative and creative and adapt and get ahead of the curve.
Take one final question. Center right.
Stephen Johnson, Fort Worth Star Telegram. How's it going, Sonny?
Stephen, good to see you, man.
Yes, sir.
Hope you had a good summer.
Yeah, I was in Memphis the whole time, so yeah, I enjoyed it.
Good for you. Had a lot of barbecue.
Yes, sir. You guys got a lot of new faces on offense, but you bring back a lot of experience on defense, almost the whole back seven, Josh, Johnny, etc. What are some of your reasonable expectations for what you want to see from that side of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll take a big step defensively. I think when you look at Joe Gillespie and his track record, I think his defenses they get better. The longer he's there, the better the players understand what they're doing defensively, the better he can do a lot of the little nuanced things that make his defense different and unique and special. I think our guys have a lot of confidence in the scheme and the technique. We've got a lot of depth. If you look at last year, we rolled out a spring ball last year, and we had 5 scholarship D linemen. And typically, you don't have a lot of success if that's what you have. And we were able to address that in the transfer portal. You look at last year as well, and we played really most of the season with only 4 scholarship linebackers. We just had a lot of injuries and we were hurt. And so that took a special way of adapting and adjusting the way we practiced, the preparation, to how we played guys in games, to taking guys off of special teams, everything we could do to keep that unit successful. And same thing at the corner position. We really were too deep really at corner last year. And the great thing about this group this year, we feel like we're 7 or 8 deep at corner. We feel like we're 8 or 9 deep at linebacker. We feel like we're 10 deep on the defensive front. And so those things are all going to allow us to do different things defensively and take that next step. If you want to be a great program consistently, it all begins by playing great defense. I think if it doesn't matter if it's 7th grade football, the NFL, teams that play great defense and teams that can run the football have had a history of winning football games and doing it over the long haul. I've been places where maybe our team wasn't built that way and we've had to outscore people, which, can be a little bit tedious. And so, my hope is this year we take a big step defensively, like I think we will. We have a lot of speed. You name some guys that have played a lot of football, and, the group can run. The group is physical. I think they're good tacklers. They're good at fundamentals. They communicate well. All the things that good defenses do, we have the makings of getting there. And my hope is, sooner than later, we become a dominant defensive football team. And like I said, it certainly makes my life a lot easier when that happens.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Coming up next at 1:45, we'll have Houston coach Dana Holberson.